Hi, it's Dr. J with our Thursday Thought. This is our third week as we look at tips to avoid or prevent digital dementia. And it's been actually awesome at the office. It's been a ton of fun because people are sharing at the office their strategies or action steps as to what they're doing to put some of these tips into action. All right, which is awesome to hear, as well as just the fact that you're assessing your life and the role technology has in it is super important. So I congratulate all of you on doing that. So last week's tip was to get outside. Just interact with the outdoors. It's not only good for your physical body if you get out and take a walk, take the kids to the park, and get moving in the outdoors, but what we're really talking about is the impact on the brain and your mind thanks you. So do those 30-minute, minimum 30 minutes, hopefully it's 60 and 90 minutes, outside every day of the week, 7 days a week. This week, our tip is to really go retro. As you see, I'm reading a book here. Mark and I are playing crib. It's one of our favorite games. And interacting with a real book, real deck of cards, playing a real game, playing Scrabble, playing Yahtzee, whatever the game is, do a real jigsaw puzzle, but interacting with the real world. And I know a lot of you are on the computer doing like memory games, like jigsaw puzzles. I know a lot of people who are doing jigsaw puzzles online, or they're playing solitaire or Sudoku, and those are really good for the brain. I'm not taking that away, but do it for real. Okay, and just think about that first teaching we did on that overstimulation of the occipital lobe. It's visual stimulation, and yes, with playing solitaire and your brain has to do some thinking, but if the occipital lobe or the visual centers are getting overstimulated and the rest of your brain is not, there's still an overwhelm happening to the occipital lobe at the cost of the rest of your brain. And I just want to point out that your brain craves stress, or craves being challenged. It craves being stimulated. And we already don't use a large percentage of our brain. So if we're interacting, if we're actually playing cards and I'm dealing cards, I'm holding the cards, I'm feeling the cards, I'm counting the cards, and there's an interaction with the external world that I'm doing. My eyes have to gaze down, and they're gazing around, they're looking over at that pile, they're reaching, and my eyes have to accommodate. They're coordinating with the rest of my body. I'm having to shift my posture as I reach. If you're playing solitaire and you're dealing your cards out, and then you have to reach and flip them over, your eyes have to change their focal points. You're thinking as you're thinking in relationship to your whole body as you reach and grab a card and move it over, as opposed to just sitting looking at a computer screen and hitting the button and hitting the button and hitting the button to deal, and then maybe you have to click and drag a card over, and that's the extent of the interaction. All right, so same with reading a book. Rather than reading it on your Kindle, you want to be reading an actual book that you can hold. All right, and I challenge you to put a little dot on your finger and open the book, and for a page or two, just put a dot on your finger and just see how you track left to right as you read every single word of every sentence. I test eye tracking in the office, and part of the problems we're seeing is an inability for eyes to track and eyes to move separate from the head. All right, and our eyes have a very wide field that they should be able to smoothly move around. And as we're just sitting looking at a computer, and then we're moving up and to the right if we have notifications, then our field of gaze, we start seeing jumping around, we start seeing the inability to track. And so just to practice that at home, and so I just challenge you, just for fun, see how well even your kids can track as you move your finger across the page and see if they can follow it. And it's no different from a jigsaw puzzle. If you're a puzzler, dump the pieces out and actually pick up the pieces, put them where they belong. And again, you're interacting with that outside world. You're reaching, you're touching, you're feeling, you're thinking, all at the same time, which is your whole brain is working. All right, so this week's tip is going retro. Anything you can think of in your normal day-to-day activities that you can step away from the computer and do in a tangible way. Oh, I've got these. So this is a card game that you can just grab and have it on your dinner table, and you can do a card. And this is for dinner time, because we know that dinner is often a time where kids are on their iPads, or we're trying to keep the kids busy and behaved at the table. And this is an interactive game that has you thinking. Every card has a little bit of a puzzle on it. This is available at the Miller's Mill Street Books in Elmont. And it's just a great way to think problems through. And even if you have it as a table conversation where you're talking with your family or with a group of seniors, a dinner party, whatever. But interacting with the cards, you have to look over onto the other side and get the answer. It's just a brilliant way to bring problem solving off the computer and back into real day-to-day life. So I encourage you to interact with the real world this week. And your not only your body, but your brain and your mind will thank you.